connection, engagement, rigor, success. Hello, and welcome to my podcast, coaching you through all things education. And you can find me right here on Tuesdays at noon. I'm your host, Ann Labangana Clay of ANC Unlimited, and we take the stress out of education. I am a passionate educator who has spent the past 26 years teaching, presenting, coaching, and consulting for students of all ages, parents, other educators, and the public. Each week, we will unpack relevant topics in education together. And when I'm not podcasting, stop by our website, acunlimited.org, for our new blog post in Coaching You EDU, or a free consultation on any teacher, admin, or parent question of your choosing. We also provide 3 levels of interview coaching and custom design workshops made just for you. If something resonates with you during this episode, please leave a comment on LinkedIn, on our company Facebook page, or on Twitter. Check out the story notes for our social media details. And if you have an episode suggestion, please send it to coachingallthingsedu@gmail.com. Now let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Coaching You Through All Things Education podcast. In our Edupreneur Series, we are excited today to have our special guest, Tom Libelt. Welcome, Tom.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let me tell you a little bit about him, and then I'm going to let him introduce himself because I'm really excited about having our guest today. Tom spends most of his time in the country of Thailand running his smart brand marketing and We Market online courses. He seems like one of those guys with the Midas touch where everything he works on turns to gold. I'm going to let him share with you, but there are books and online courses. I hear a coffee shop and a retail store and a record label are in his past, and we're so excited. All of this was done by bootstrapping, done with zero outside funding. Absolutely amazing, Tom. Can you tell our listening audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I've done all that stuff that you mentioned, so that's a part of it. I was always really into business and music. So anything I really did was kind of around those angles. But, like anyone that's ran a business, had a very rocky road to get where I am. So lots of ups and downs. I've had jobs. I had a lot of crappy jobs as well before, trying things out. So I understand completely, if someone's listening and they are in one of those and, they really wanted to get out, I get you. I've been there. So, yeah, it's definitely not easy, but it's doable, right? Like if you try different things, if you kind of finish what you start, you build up a resume. And that's all I really did.
Absolutely. I love that concept. And it's very true. The more exposure that you have, right, tends to work out in your favor. So that's awesome. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing a bit about yourself. We're going to start with question number 1. How do you know which business idea is a good business idea?
So I think of it in a couple different ways, right? Like the first thing is it needs to make money, right? Mm-hmm. If it doesn't make money, then it's a problem. 2, it needs to fit your life. So, we're all a little different and we like different things, but the business should be fit around your life and not your life around your business, right? Mm-hmm. So if you don't like having in-person meetings, if you don't like having calls, if you don't like having a big team, then don't build a business that's going to have those things in it, right? So those two would be, I think, major. So I put a lot of constraints on my businesses. But the last one is a bit tricky. So there's a difference between creating a good job for yourself and having an actual business. Yeah. And that difference is that you can sell one and make money on an exit, and the second one you can't, because the second you leave, there's nothing left. And most of us, we think we're running businesses, but we actually have really good jobs that we're doing.
Yes.
So those three things I think are most important.
Excellent. Wow, there's some food for thought, because I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs, edupreneurs, startups that have a great idea, but like you said, are they working, or is it just to work, or is it, really thriving in the area that they're in? And so a lot of self-reflection for business owners. Question number 2. You run We Market online courses. So what are the 3 things that separate every successful online course from one that is failing?
Well, the first one is when people don't treat it like a business, it usually doesn't run well. A course does take a lot of work. Mm-hmm. So having it as a hobby will bring you hobby type results.
Gotcha.
Often, right? The second thing is the outcomes, right? Having actual outcomes, not wishy-washy things, not, I will teach you basics or foundations. Like that stuff you can see on YouTube for free. What people really want with online courses is, I don't know a certain thing, and after taking your course, I will know it, right? So for example, I need to take a Series 6 for my life insurance job, or I don't get the job. So this course will teach me how to pass the test, right? I would like to learn calligraphy. So I don't know how to do it, but after taking your course, I will. And the one thing I find is that obscure niches work really well. So if you think about yourself, right? You're staying in Delaware.
Yes.
Right? And let's say you want to learn how to do Japanese, like writing, the one they do with the paint, right? For example. And let's say the best people teaching that are only in New York and California, in the big cities, right? But there's a lot of people excited about this topic all over the country. And they have 2 options: to either go with someone mediocre that's within 100 miles, or go fly to New York or LA.
Sure.
So an online course in a niche like that will get a lot of very excited people. It's going to be a smaller group, but you can make a lot of money, even with a smaller, excited group, right? So those courses I find work really well, because you're not competing with every other guy or girl that's trying to help you with Instagram or help you with Twitter, help you with LinkedIn, right? All that nonsense. Like you actually have a niche where you have a lot of hungry people that cannot find someone locally to teach them. And those will do really, really well.
Wow. That's a lot to think about, and it makes perfect sense, not just because we're in a pandemic and can't go out of our immediate circles, but even before that and beyond this time period, people want to learn and they're doing it online, and so, if you find something or if you create something, that people, even a small group of people, are interested in, then you will be successful because you're meeting a need, which is hence why businesses begin, right?
Yeah, so you can think of it in another way too. Like, let's say you are trying to do something which is fairly common, like learning storytelling, right? Because that's what you need for business, that's what you need for yourself.
Sure.
And you try to do it locally. And all you see are mediocre people who are just not cutting it, right? So yes, they can teach you storytelling, but if you want the caliber of the people that often we look for, you have to look nationally, because you're like, I want to learn from the best. I don't want to learn from this guy who's stuck in the same town as me, making $15 an hour. Like I want to go after, yeah. So that's another way to kind of think of it. Because some people will be like, well, most of the stuff I want to learn is available, but is the quality there really?
Gotcha. Yes.
So those courses tend to work really well. If you're really, really good at something, you will do quite well nationally or internationally.
Awesome. Okay.
Let's take a brief break and we'll be right back with more of Tom Libelt.
Are you ready to share your voice, your vision, and your mission? Are you ready to turn your passion into a profit? Then you need to start a podcast today. Hello, I'm Antoinette Blake, the CEO of A. Blake Enterprises Social Media Marketing and Consulting. And I invite you to send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com to schedule a 30-minute complimentary discovery call so that we can talk about what it is that you want to share with the world. What is the legacy that you want to leave with your voice? You can also register for a podcasting coaching session for a one-time investment of $159. You'll be able to start your own podcast, turning that passion into a profit. Again, send an email to me at info@ablakeenterprises.com. So using your voice, you can literally change someone's life.
We're back with Tom Libelt.
All right. Our next question is about websites. So question number 3, if someone is considering creating their own website, what are the essential SEO things that every website needs?
The essential SEO stuff. I wouldn't overthink this. The main thing with SEO, you're looking at proper tagging. You can hire this out really easily on Fiverr or Upwork. Just make sure your title tag is in place, your image tags, the content is clean. But the main thing you're looking for is a fast website, because Google likes speed and people like speed. If someone can't load your site for 3-4 seconds, they're going to bounce, which engagement is also a big part of it. And really the main thing is backlinks, right? So getting other people, other websites to say, yes, this website is great by pointing at it with their backlink. And that's really 80% of the job. SEO is not difficult. Okay. It's a lot of work, but it's not difficult. So I wouldn't think of it as much. Like if you're starting out, just get a clean website, make sure it loads fast, and reach out to everyone you know to see if you can get a backlink. That's it.
Gotcha. All right. Those are great tips. All right. So we're in our Edupreneur Series, which are educators who are in business. And my next question, number 4, is why would most edupreneurs or any business think that an ongoing SEO would be a waste of money?
Well, it often is. It depends, like what you're thinking of SEO. If you're looking at, I'm going to hire a company to do everything for me, often it is a waste of money, because all they're doing is either the same backlinks over and over, or they get you ranking and do nothing, right? There's not that many that really have work. What usually happens is once your website starts ranking, people naturally start linking to it. I would think more of an SEO strategy as a system which you can put in place. So for example, can I write one guest post a week for a different website? Can I get myself on different podcasts? And they're going to link back to me. Is there something I can do long-term for years that it's going to compound and it's going to bring me one, exposure, and two, backlinks and SEO benefits at the same time. So I would kind of try to mesh those in into a system that's sustainable. Don't really worry about the companies and anyone else.
That's excellent advice. You're saying if you become a guest on a podcast,
yep,
get connected with another website, and they backlink to you, that's the most success, not necessarily the company that you choose. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So here's another tip, because I'm doing the same thing and it's been working well. Wonderful. You have a podcast already.
Yes.
So you would look within your niche, because Google values backlinks from your competition and people that align with you much stronger than just random backlinks, right? So for my podcast, what I often do is I get someone that's in my niche, right? Like maybe an online course platform, the founder.
Yes.
And then I'll ask them, can I put a blog post on your site? Because look, here's the difference. If I go to the gatekeeper and I ask them,
yes,
they're going to throw me into, the room with all the other people waiting.
True.
If I ask the owner of the company, after I just spoke with them for an hour,
yes,
it's usually a very quick yes. And if they tell the gatekeeper, talk to Tom, they're not going to say anything other than, yes, boss.
Exactly, right? Oh, that's a wonderful strategy. I look forward to our conversation after the podcast. All right, wonderful. That's excellent tips. Question number 5. How can an edupreneur make their business anti-fragile?
That's quite difficult, because you're looking at different business models and different income streams to really have an anti-fragile business.
Sure.
And not even that, you're looking at control, you're looking at different pricing, because for one, you might be a consultant, a teacher, yes, which trades their time for money, right? So, okay, that's one income stream. Then you have to think of what's something that you can build once and sell multiple times. Could be an online course, could be software, could be productized service, don't know. But, that's another thing that you got to think of. Now, you're not working hourly anymore, right? So it's a little more anti-fragile now. Then you have to think about control. Do I control my audience, or does Amazon control it? Does Fiverr control it? Does the university control it, right? The more places that I'm spread out on, more anti-fragile. Then the next thing you got to think about is pricing. If I'm teaching someone and I charge $300 an hour, $400, not everyone can afford that. So what do I have for people who are only able to spend $70 or $10, right?
Yeah.
So the more you think about, your entire audience, control your offerings, that's how you become anti-fragile. There's no shortcut.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to stress, and I'll tell this because of my own experience, all the shortcuts that I tried to do, it would have been quicker to do it the right way the first time.
Sure.
So, shortcuts usually end at some point and you're back to square one. So, it is a lot of work, a lot of thinking that goes in, but to be anti-fragile, you really do have to kind of cover all those bases.
Yes, it's a lot to think about, and but it's like you said, it's worth it. It's like what you invest your money in or your time into, right, gives the most value, and so you might as well just do it all and not do it the right way and not take the shortcuts. There's no value in doing that. Okay, thank you so much. All right, and our last question, one of my favorites. If you could have your own billboard with anything written on it, what legacy message would you write on it and why?
Yeah, just the one I thought about before the show. just put cleaner.
Yes.
So let me give maybe this analogy, and then the ending of it will go on the billboard.
Sure.
So often what we do, and I like to think of starting a business as getting on a bus. And when you first get on the bus, you're in the first seat. And then, the second year, the third year, as you go through, you hit obstacles, you overcome things, you go to the next seat, and then maybe on the third seat, as different things come up and you kind of overcome them and hit different milestones. Well, what most of us do is we get to a point where things get really hard, and we're just like, this is not worth it. This business sucks. I don't want to be here anymore. And they look at the bus next to them, and it seems greener, richer, everyone's happier. And they switch to the other bus, and they don't realize they're back to seat one. And again, they do the same thing over and over and over. And then again, on the third seat, there's another bus. So the billboard would pretty much say, stay on the bus.
I love it. I love it. And it's true. You do get to points where you get frustrated, but you've made it this far. And then you bus, and then you're back to square one, right?
and the sad thing about this is you'll talk to someone that's 40 or 50 years old, and they'll say, hey, Tom, I have 20 years of sales experience or 20 years of business experience. And I'm like, let me look at your resume.
Sure.
And they'll be like, no, you have 10 3-year experiences. That's all you have. It's not what you think. So it's a common problem. We all do this. Everything looks better and nicer when we're struggling. Everyone else's. We look on Instagram. Everyone's life's amazing. Don't fall for it. Stay on the bus.
Stay on the bus. I love it. Tom, that is excellent advice. Well, we are delighted with all the nuggets and wisdom that you've given us today. Thank you so much for your time. And we hope to be in touch with you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Oh, awesome. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Take care.
Well, that concludes another episode of Coaching You Through All Things Education podcast. As Confucius states, those who develop the ability to continuously acquire new and better forms of knowledge that they can apply to their work and to their lives will be the movers and shakers in our society for the indefinite future. Again, you can find me on LinkedIn or on our company Facebook page, A&C Unlimited. And please take a moment to visit our website at afunlimited.org for that free consultation. Until next time, stay stress-free and be well. Now, a word from our sponsor. Want to start your own podcast? Start with Anchor FM. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it is absolutely free. They also have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor FM will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many more podcast apps. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So if you're interested, please download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.